Warning: this program is intended for adults of legal drinking age. Whiskey is consumed and discussed. The intent is to educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
Hello,
hey everybody.
welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey. That's us.
Yes.
Hey. We nailed it. We nailed this intro. Great.
Did I have something to do?
No, you didn't. It was all us.
This is all our fail.
No, I'm Joseph Limbaugh. As always, I'm joined by Andrew Pierce. And,
Hi, I'm Andrew Pierce.
Yeah, a delightful friend of mine I've known for years. Chelsey Crisp is on the show, and amazing improviser, actress, and not a huge whiskey drinker, but maybe by the end of the show, we'll see. Yeah.
I'm hoping to be a convert. I really hope to gain an appreciation for the art of whiskey consumption here today.
It is an art.
I feel like we do elevate it to an art. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that comment.
I would say so. From what I have sitting in front of me, I already feel like this is very impressive.
Yeah, well, as you can see, we've got 4 whiskeys here to taste, and we're going to be tasting them at approximate time codes on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side. What side is that?
We try to hew to those time codes. So if you're watching on YouTube later, you can go like, I want to hear about this Mortlach. What's up with that or whatever. Yeah,
Okay.
Just like that.
That's
Or
how
whatever.
people are when they're watching YouTube. They're
They
super
always
casual.
drink in roughly 15-minute increments, so this is fine for me. This is completely normal.
It's completely normal. It's
Yeah.
completely normal.
That's the standard way to do it, right?
Yeah. I'm
without
Irish.
any-
It's just the way I was taught.
Well, we'll talk more after we have some whiskey, because we were just lamenting that we had our warm-up whiskey before the show and it ran out, and everyone was like, "Oh, should I get a little bit more?" And I said, "No, we got to wait." So we're waiting. Here's a Fettercairn. It's from Clan Denny, which is a Douglas Laing brand label. Douglas McGinley is McGibbon is the subcategory of it. Anyway, so it's a independent bottler, bottled Fettercairn.
Yeah, it's quite pale.
Very
It's got
pale.
a nice color to it, though. Yeah.
You guys, do I have the wrong glasses? What you guys did
You don't have to have these fancy Glencairn glasses. Any glasses are fine. Yeah.
I already am doing it wrong.
Oh,
There's no wrong way to drink whiskey.
No
well, there are ways that are almost
there's some wrong ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in a glass and you can nose it, and you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and if the alcohol is strong, you can give it a little puff to and that way sometimes you can get when I do that, I'm
Access the nose a little better that way.
definitely getting more floral notes when I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's like flowers. It's like fruit flowers, like flowers from fruit trees or something.
I feel like it smells like whiskey.
Okay. Good note.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
No.
How could I?
Maybe by the next one I'll start to smell the difference.
And sometimes if you open your mouth, you can get it'll open your palate up a bit more as you're smelling it.
Oh, Chelsey, before the show, I forgot to mention to you that I fucking love whiskey.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay,
I hope by the end of the show I fucking love whiskey.
We'll see. It's a journey.
The challenge has been set. How long do we
I don't know. As long as we want.
yeah. Let's sip. I feel like
we'd smell it for exactly 5 minutes and then
how far into our 15 minutes are we?
We got to keep within the schedule.
Yes.
All right.
I
I'm
think
gonna
he knows
sip
it. Like if there's other, okay, we're tasting it now. Okay.
Buff.
I was gonna watch how you taste it. Should I know anything? Like, should you taste it and then open your mouth immediately, or not open your mouth?
Kind of chewing it as
You can kind of go nom nom nom, or try to keep it in your mouth and let it as much as you can, kind of touch all the different parts and yeah, I think like you can pretend like you're either with your mouth open or closed, like you're chewing it a bit. I think is one thing.
Okay.
But yeah, it's got kind of a tinny sort of quality to me. Like it's I like it, but it's not it's a little metallic and kind of not in a bad way, and kind of
never in a bad way.
It tastes like, I know it's like it tastes kind of pale, like in like pears. I would say it kind of tastes like pears. which is a common,
like maybe canned pears.
Yeah, canned pears. Yeah, and there's no wrong answer. Like if it reminds you of whatever, like I'm like, because sometimes we'll have the weirdest tasting notes too. People will say like, you know, oh, it reminds me of like rotted fish in a gutter or something, but in a good way, you know, like.
I love, like in the movie Somm. Did you guys watch? I assume you guys probably saw Somm. It's for people that are taking their test, their master sommelier test. And it's a documentary. It's really great. You should watch it. And a lot of it is just them tasting different kinds of wines and quizzing each other and what they compare them to. It is so intense and hilarious. And with a completely straight face, they're like, oh, I get hints of fresh cut garden hose. It's like they absolutely, and everyone else goes, oh yeah, you're right. Or they flip over the card. They're like, that's it. It's fascinating.
So I go both ways. I'm amazed that the sommeliers can taste all of these flavors and really, really identify them. But I also disagree that that's the right answer, that's the only answer you can have. It's like, what is your experience? Yeah. And that's really where we like to go. Like, this reminds me of an old pair of cross-country skis that were in my garage. And I can't tell you exactly why, but kind of a little waxiness to it and the wood.
Waxiness that's a good adjective for what I'm tasting. There's this kind of,
Yeah, I could tell that, like waxy. Yeah. Like to me, it's, if I was going to build a house in this, which I don't think I've done in a while, it would be a windmill. It would be a windmill in an orchard of pear trees. But like kind of like a, you know, like a medieval windmill with like a house inside, and you know, it's not like a futuristic modern windmill.
It's one of Don Quixote's windmills.
Yes, a Don Quixote windmill. Now I'm really conscious about saying my D's. A windmill.
Windmill.
A windmill.
Well,
that's nice.
What I do love about whiskey is how it makes you feel so warm.
Yeah.
I do love that. And I know that's probably an incredibly stupid thing to say. But it has this very comforting, warming effect. It's very it's just very comforting is the best way to say it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about it, is like you always, like you always know when you take a sip of whiskey, like there's no middle ground. You know, I mean, there are some whiskeys that are very smooth, but it's, I don't know, you kind of know generally how much alcohol you're taking in, like you feel it, you know.
But some of them kind of disguise it, and I think the Mortlach we're going to have next disguises itself, but it's,
oh wow. Yeah, sometimes you'll take a sip of whiskey, it'll be like a mixed drink, you know, occasionally.
Yeah. Well, this tastes very sharp to me.
Yeah.
Like this tastes very, very boozy and just sharp. Like it hits high on the palate for me.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's like, I think about it like a note, like a musical note. And this is like, to me, this is like, it would be a high note, you know, like a high, it'd be a high C.
Can we hear one of those, Joseph?
Yeah, please.
Just so we know. Okay.
Oh. I think we can thank Zoom's noise cancellation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I do it again? Did it?
You do it again. It cut out a little bit.
Or maybe I just pretended to make a sound. You don't know.
We heard the start of it and then it cut out.
So when you, let's go real dumb here. Will you know automatically if you're drinking a whiskey versus a scotch or a bourbon?
Well, I wouldn't say automatically, but yeah, I think in general, I could, like, I'm to a point where, because bourbons are quite a bit sweeter usually, you know, than a scotch, because they have more corn in them.
Yeah. Bourbons have to be 51%. One of those two. It has to be over half corn in the mash. So that gives it a lot of sweetness.
Yeah. Whereas, yes, I think I could tell the difference. I do feel like, because you know, like you talk about wine tasting, like I feel like that's to a certain degree kind of bullshit. Like, because I feel like a lot of wines, and they've even done studies where they will take, you know, someone who's like, you know, really like a sommelier, and they'll like, oh, here's a $2 wine, and they don't tell them, and they're like, oh, this is a fancy wine, right? And now I don't know, like I've done blind tasting of bourbons, and it's not like, or bourbons and scotches, and it's not like with a scotch, I can go like, oh, this is clearly a Speyside, right? This is Mortlach or whatever. Like I wouldn't necessarily know what distillery it came from, but like I know when I know when I like it.
Yeah.
Like I know when it's something special, you know. So I don't know. I just feel like Scotch has a much wider range of flavors than wine does. Yeah.
It's just how we feel.
That's how we feel. Maybe I'm crazy, but here's the thing, Chelsey. I fucking love whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it. Totally. Okay. Do you fucking love this whiskey?
I do. Yeah. I don't dislike it. Yeah. And there's
a lot in between. I don't. Wait, sorry, say that again.
Well, there's no dumb questions. You said you had a dumb question. You don't have to say that. Like there's no.
Well, hold on to that. Let's see where we go. You don't know what else I have to ask.
I have not heard a dumb whiskey question yet.
Okay.
I have yet to hear one.
Yeah.
Are Scotch and whiskey, what's the difference between whiskey and a Scotch whiskey?
Well, whiskey is anything made with a grain that is fermented and then distilled, and basically has those three ingredients: grain, water, and yeast. Scotch is made in Scotland only and must be matured in Scotland for 3 years plus a day in oak. So it's other than that, it's fairly loose. And the type of oak, you know, they talk about a sherry oak wood, an ex sherry cask, an ex bourbon cask, ex Pedro Jimenez, Oloroso sherry casks. Wine casks now are getting into it. In fact, we got one that was finished in a wine cask coming on later on here. So yeah, so they just that's basically it. So they're all whiskeys. Just the Americans spell it wrong with an E.
Yeah, it's like champagne, right? It only comes from champagne.
Yeah, I never knew that about Scotch. I had no idea. So and is there does anyone cheat with that, or like does the entire process have to take place in Scotland?
Call it Scotch by their regulations, yes, it has to take place in Scotland.
Although the barrels come from all sorts of places, like frequently they will use bourbon barrels from America. Like there's you know, or there, I think there's like, don't they make certain alcohols now just so that they can make Scotch in those barrels afterwards? Like the alcohols they use for window cleaner, right?
Yeah. So sherry used to be a huge thing that was sold all the time. So there was all these sherry casks that were available, you know, after in England and Scotland. Now they sometimes just make sherry just to mature the casks and then sell them for like, you know, 3,000 pounds to the Scottish distilleries. So it's a thing.
Nice. The more you know.
Are we gonna science this? It seems kind of, what is the percentage of alcohol? I mean, I don't mind sciencing it because I don't
46.
I like it, but I don't love it. I just feel like with this low level of alcohol, it's gonna like
it's probably not gonna be good, but yeah, I'm gonna try.
Probably not gonna be good.
Wait,
but,
you said it's a low level of alcohol
for science.
Yeah, 46.
Yeah,
46% is a low level of alcohol for.
Well, I mean, it has to be 40% or above. But
will I be returning to my family this evening?
We're going to be pouring you down the stairs. I think to get.
We are going up the ladder. The last one is 60%, so keep that in mind. That's that's why we say don't pour the whole bottle in.
Oh, I definitely did not. Just one drop of water?
That's what we start with.
Okay.
Huh.
Oh, it softens the nose in a really nice way.
Yeah, I feel like it's more fruity than flowery now. And there's something kind of funky in there. Like maybe like a little bit of kind of fermented or rotted fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fruit cellar.
It does taste sweeter.
It does. That fruit really comes out in the palate.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Isn't that neat?
That's
always neat.
Yeah.
So yummy.
I think it's pretty good with water, actually, with a little bit of water.
It is.
I
enjoy it more with that little bit of water in it.
Who knew?
Yeah. Which doesn't always happen. Sometimes we like something so much we don't want to put water in it because we're afraid of what it's.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mess with perfection.
We just put a drop in because sometimes it's amazing how much just a single drop of water can change the taste.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. Actually, I didn't think it was going to have that much of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I think anyone experiences that, it's I don't know, it's surprising. Yeah.
So good, so yummy. Well, I'm going to put a cap on that because, you know, we have a serious business to get to here in going through these whiskeys.
Yeah, we have 3 more to drink, to try, to taste.
And this one, we're going to start with a moment of silence, though, for a dead soldier.
Oh,
thank you. This is a travel retail exclusive, 500 centiliters, a Mortlach. It is called Special Strength 2.81. And
I do love the name of this distillery, Mortlach. It sounds like something from like Lord of the Rings.
Mortlach.
Or an H.G. Wells, right?
I can always tell it's going to be a good show when the random.org, who are sponsored by random.org, we got your number. When I get sad about giving away the whiskey, that always tells me that it's going to be a good show, because I go, no, I don't want to give this away. Anyways, there you go. Did well.
Right. Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Molasses.
Yeah, but like a kind of like plums and like a stone fruit molasses sort of mix. Oh,
wow, that's different.
And it's like a deeper, it's a deeper resonation. Like this is like below the root cellar. There's like a secret root cellar with like where the like pickled plums are, and
this is the room underneath the windmill.
Yeah. The room beneath the windmill. I love that movie.
Treacle, maybe.
It does sound like an art film, doesn't it? Honey, can we watch The Room Beneath the Windmill again? I hate the subtitles. Can we just?
But I love the character Mortlach that lived down there.
Mortlach.
Oh, this is yummy.
It smells. Yeah. It smells really good. The other one sort of like stung my eyes a little bit if I got in that close, but this one feels just a little more smooth.
Isn't it interesting? Because this is like a higher percentage than that one is. But it seems like it's less alcohol.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like it is.
All right. We ready?
I could stay in the nose for a while though.
Yeah, I could too, but I'm going in.
We got to taste it. Okay.
Whoa, that aftertaste is aggressive.
Yep. But you know what? This is my favorite whiskey.
Is it?
It's my favorite whiskey. Oh my gosh.
I have to agree. It has that finish goes on forever.
Yeah.
Like I still taste it even now. Like it's still there. Wow.
It is like, so you can just feel it move through your mouth and down your throat. Like it's truly like just like a fire spreading through, not in a spicy way or anything, just like it's very, very intense as it moves through.
It's like an army of tiny grapefruits that are slowly marching down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Yeah, that is an odd, but I do taste grapefruit in this. That I feel like often there's citrus, but to me this is like grapefruit.
There really is, especially just at the start of the finish there, just after you swallow.
Or maybe blood orange. I don't know.
And I had a blood orange this morning. This is not.
Grapefruit army sounds so good in the description. I feel like it must be left alone.
Grapefruit army. That's like a grunge band.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsey, do you remember your first whiskey? What did you first get exposed to in whiskey?
I don't remember, but I feel like it probably had to be like Jack Daniels, I would think. If I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're from Florida, so right? I mean,
me? No, I'm from Phoenix.
Why did I think you were from Florida?
Aaron's from Florida. I bet that's what you're thinking of.
Wow. The pandemic has really damaged my brain in many ways.
I don't think anything about the pallor of my skin makes it look like I'm from the beach. I am definitely of the desert. But my first
But
whiskey
wouldn't
was-
that also make your skin? I mean,
yeah, the second I
desert,
said it, I
like-
knew it didn't work, but I thought we were gonna roll through it. But yeah. Either way, there's a lot of sun exposure that I was not allowed to partake in, or shouldn't have, rather. I definitely would have been like high school theater after party. And I feel like it just would have made sense because we would have been, somebody's mom or dad would have had a bottle of Jack Daniels, probably my dad.
I mean, I don't hate Jack Daniels. Like it's a whiskey.
No, it is a whiskey. Yeah. And I would be shocked if that was not my first whiskey. But one of my most memorable whiskey experiences, Joseph, was after an Acme show that we had done together when you introduced me to Lefroy. And I had no idea that whiskey could taste like that.
What are your thoughts? Like, what did you think when you first tasted Lefroy?
I think I was so unprepared for it, just so unprepared for it, because I didn't even allow for that to be a part of the flavor profile.
Yep.
And then, like, as with anything, the more that I learn about something, even if it's something I really don't like say, an IPA, for example, was something I never really cared about. But once I started to really learn about the different kinds of hops and the different ways that you could change the flavor profile of an IPA, I then start to really like and appreciate it in just sort of a culinary respect. But that one didn't take as long. I think by the end of that drink, I thought it was really cool. I really liked it. I think Lefroy is very, and I don't know how many there are in that category and that are that kind of smoky, but yeah, I thought it was.
There's quite
number.
A few.
Are there a lot?
Yeah. And there's getting to be more. They've just established a new distillery and there's plans for 2 more on Islay. So yeah, they're really going after that smoky peaty.
Do you guys know, does that kind of whiskey predate mezcal? Like, do you know if mezcal was like a tequila's response to that kind of smoky whiskey, or were they?
I guess we can ask Ian to look that up, right?
Yeah, I think they were kind of independent. The reason they used the peat is because they were on Islay and there wasn't any trees. There weren't any trees. Weren't any trees. There were not any trees.
There's not any trees.
This is not I fucking love grammar.
If you go to the map, like Islay is over here. It's that little dark spot right here at the edge of Scotland. That's where Lefroy comes from, and Lagavulin and Port Charlotte and Ardbeg
and Colilla and Beaumore and.
Have either of you visited any of these places? Yeah.
Wait,
and hopefully really, Joseph and I are going in October this year.
Yes, are you?
Yeah, because I'm doing D&D in a castle, where I run. I'm a dungeon master for people who come and play D&D. We all play D&D in a castle, and then I'm going to hang out hopefully and go to Islay with Andrew.
That is awesome. There is a chance I will be working in London when that happens. So maybe
you should
maybe
come up
I can come visit.
You should
teach me much more.
Absolutely. I mean, the distillery visits are so great. The people there are wonderful, and you get to meet the people that are making the thing that you love. It's just it's a magical place.
We really want to. I was in London last summer for work, and we didn't get, my husband and I, we didn't get to do much traveling because it was like peak Delta variant, and so we just kind of had to stay put and work. But my in-laws did come over and they went to Scotland. We're sort of dying to go next time.
I'm very excited about the show that that's coming up.
Oh yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the French version is awesome, and I know that you're doing the English version. So
yeah,
should we tell the viewers what that is?
Yeah, so the French show Call My Agent, that's on Netflix. There is a British remake of it that will be on Amazon UK and on Sundance Now here in the United States, and it is as French as the original show is, how it's just such a love letter to Paris, and everything about it is kind of a love letter to French cinema. As French as that version is, this one is British. It is much more of a love letter to England, and it also has its cadence, its style, everything about it is much more in the vein of British comedy and British sitcoms, with a lot of heart and drama also mixed in.
Well, I'm really excited. You're one of my favorite actresses, so obviously.
Joseph, thank you.
You always have been. I've always loved like playing with you, and you're a great improviser, and you're an awesome actress. So.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate it, and I feel the same way. And I miss improv. I miss the days of getting up on a stage and just messing about. It's
doing the make 'em ups.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
At this point, don't we all miss it?
Yeah. I know it was an absolute dream come true to get to go to London and work with this cast and this material and be on this show. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. But if we do another season, we'll likely be filming in the fall. So
cool.
That'd
be great. If it all works out, you should come up and
yeah, I would love to. I would love to. And hopefully my husband Rhett can come and you can experience the joy of him tasting something like this, because it's delightful.
It does make me, I know that Rhett is not a whiskey fan. It does make me slightly sad inside just to like see someone drink whiskey when they don't like it. It's like, you don't have to like it, you know?
Yeah, well, you probably feel worse for the whiskey, right? Because you're like, don't waste that whiskey, please.
Although, Chelsey, we do need a designated driver when we're there. So if he's not interested.
It's the best part of having a husband who's just like not particularly interested in alcohol. You know, just a built-in designated driver. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
We have a first-time chat in here from Tiger Gut 34 from Norway, who's watching at 2:25 in the morning, and I hope you're drinking or not as appropriate if you're up that late.
So I have figured out a little bit about the difference between mezcal and peated whiskey.
Yes.
So mezcal is it's what they're doing is they're cooking the agave before they start putting it into the tequila. Okay. And it isn't tequila because it's not made in Jalisco. But that is what I know so far.
Sorry, does tequila have to be made in Jalisco?
I did not know that.
Yes, apparently it does.
You would think that it would have to come from a place called Tequila. Like, I feel like they're breaking the pattern. Shouldn't it be called Jalisco?
You know, you should talk to the Mexican government about that and have them change the law. Have them call it Jalisco from now on instead of tequila.
Fair enough.
My authority does not extend that far. They can
Wait,
call
do
it
you
whatever they
not?
want.
You don't talk to the Mexican government regularly?
I mean, I do, but we don't get into that stuff. You know? We just like small talk.
Everything that I know to be true about you.
We're just friends.
Small talk.
Friends. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that tequila had to come from one specific.
I didn't either. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, you know, like we were talking about champagne and scotch and whatnot.
Yeah. Makes
so
sense. Yeah,
I guess, but I just had never known that. I mean, this
are
show's
we,
called
are we going to science this? We probably should.
Oh
right?
yeah, we should. Yeah, we're getting time to that time, aren't we? I kind of don't want to, but
why don't you can just let me do it and see what I say.
This is the last of this bottle, as I mentioned.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't, Andrew. You should just enjoy.
I'm interested to see what it does.
Yeah. Just to know, it's not like I can mark it for next time.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd the nose go? Am I just imagining that? But the nose went away.
It's kind of more funky to me. It's like farther away. Yeah, it's less, and it's kind of more funky a little bit. A little more of the rotted fruit rather than
old socks, but in a good way.
Yeah, old socks.
I feel like there's not a spectrum of the old socks flavor that's like there's the good side and the bad side of that. It's not that's just like a point.
You can't cross that divide. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I don't know, like if you had old socks that were like on an adorable kitten, maybe they would be, I don't know.
You know what? I don't think it's special with the water. I think it was more special without it.
It didn't change it that much for me. It did change the nose. I also feel like it's just less intense up front, but
yeah, I would agree. I don't know that there's that much of a difference for me with water. It's a little more funky still in the flavor as well. And kind of like the grapefruit are gone. It's just kind of like the marching boots of the grapefruit.
Do those marching boots have socks in them? And
maybe they're not.
Socks?
Yeah, maybe they're not even. Maybe they're just walking on the socks. Maybe there's no boots. Maybe that's it. The socks were in boots.
Yeah.
And then now they're walking.
It's just a rotten sock army.
Yeah. Rotten Sock Army.
Another great
We all
movie.
Rotten Sock Army. Welcome.
Okay, no, you're
Ready
right.
to
They're a
rock.
punk band. They're a punk band. You're right.
Yeah. These are good whiskeys, Andrew. Thanks for sharing the last of that with us.
Yeah, thank you.
well-
That must have been hard on your heart to package that up and send it away.
As I say, that's the metric of a good show. If I'm sad to send things away.
Oh, I should ask.
Yes, you
the
should.
two that we've had, what would you drink these with? Like, what would you eat with this? Or is that just blasphemy? Would you not ever eat anything with it? Would you just sip it slowly and enjoy it? Because Andrew's expression is not favorable.
There are some people who like to pair whiskeys with food. We don't generally do that, but I mean, like if we like, I mean, I like something that has a very mild flavor to it. If I'm having something with whiskey, I'll eat like just water crackers, you know, and it like will really bring out the flavor of the water crackers, or a really mild cheese, or you know, yeah, stuff like that. I think is a good like whiskey snack.
So if you go to a whiskey tasting in Scotland, would they put anything out? Would there be any bread or crackers, or would they?
Generally not. But I mean, if it was something, it would be something very neutral, like you know, a loaf of bread or some crackers or something.
Okay.
Peanuts maybe.
Yeah,
but
peanuts
generally,
are good.
yeah.
Peanuts are nice. Like if they're
But-
like just regular roasted peanuts. Yeah.
The Scotch Malt Whiskey Society is kind of a club. They have like locations in Glasgow and the other city, Edinburgh.
The other city.
The other city.
You got there very quickly though, so it's okay. No one's
The two Scottish cities, Glasgow, Edinburgh. There's no others.
What's the
no
other?
others. That's it. Yeah. All the rest are towns, hamlets, as if you will. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, oh yes, so you go there and they do independent bottlings. They have all these wonderful individual casks and bottles you can buy and sip from at the place. But they also do pair it with food, and they have a sommelier, a Scotch sommelier. Is that still called a sommelier?
I don't know. Isn't sommelier like just a wine?
Just
Well, no,
wine?
like the hood.
It sounds
sommelier
French,
does.
so the Scottish.
I think it's anybody who drinks things and like is like knowledgeable about drinking things.
maybe.
He also is knowledgeable, not just anybody who drinks.
Just anybody who drinks things. We're all a little bit of a sommelier.
We're all a sommelier.
Yeah.
We've only had two.
It's like
whiskeys.
some allier. I'd like some all. Yay. That's it, right?
The sommelier. Yeah. Yay. Anyways, so they do pair food with their whiskeys, or whiskeys with their food. So people do that. Absolutely. That's what we're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Just
we don't.
not any of the people.
What
at this
I
particular
would
time.
ask you, Chelsey, what would you pair with
yeah.
it? Like, what would you like to have with this? What would you do?
Well, I was just wondering, because I think like this one seems much sweeter to me than the one we had before, and so I was just curious, you know, more curious what you guys would do, because I think probably in general I would pair whiskey with something grilled or smoked. It just seems like it would be the right way to go. But I don't eat meat, so before I was vegetarian, I think I would have mostly paired it with like a grilled or a smoked meat.
Right.
That's what would make the most
But I
sense.
think
But
if you
You
had
could
a
like you could
grilled
like
pepper
grill
with that last
vegetables and
Yeah.
and tofu, and there's a lot of, you know, vegetarian stuff that can be grilled and smoked. And Andrew's a vegetarian as well, so yeah.
yeah, so what would you, if you had to, gun to your head, what would you pair this with, other than a soda cracker, which was Joseph's on the record answer?
I do think like I can see like a grilled stuffed pepper.
Yeah.
A little rice and pepper with that, because it's a little sweet. It kind of pushes that over.
I think
But
it would be nice with like some tart apple wedges. I think that
Oh.
probably
That'd
is
be good.
good.
Okay. Yeah.
Mortlach.
That's a good answer.
It's also good with an excellent guest.
Oh,
Which we have.
Which we do have.
Which we have.
when is he coming?
Oh, burn.
It's you.
Wow.
You're the excellent guest.
Number 3 in a
It's number
series
3.
of 4. Glentauchers Distillery. This is a sovereign from the Hunter Laing Company, a 10-year-old.
I like a lot of the stuff that Sovereign does. They're like an independent bottler, and I love. They have some really good stuff. They make some good choices.
Is anything on this label the location of the distillery?
I forget what I put on the label there. Yes, Speyside.
Speyside is the location.
distillery. Yes. So they have like 5 regions in Scotland.
So if we go to the map,
Go to the map,
like,
Joseph.
Speyside is this. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a light orange area here. Like this is all Highlands, and then Speyside is next to the Spey River, there in the map. I feel, yeah. I'm like
Spey and all of its tributaries.
a weather person of whiskey.
You must be so excited to go, Joseph, because you know so much about it. I mean, there's nothing better than actually getting to go to the place that you've learned so much about, and to have something specific like this that anchors you to it. You know, it's so great to travel and have this like very specific thing that you're looking forward to doing and exploring.
I'm super excited,
Yeah.
especially to go to Islay, because those are where my favorite whiskeys come from.
And I want to take you there. And the thing that I loved about it too is just walking up to the distillery, you start to get the aroma of what they're making there. And you realize the thing that I love about the aroma of whiskey and the taste of whiskey is like, it's the place. This is where it's all these ingredients are coming together and they're making it right there. I'm just so excited. Can't wait. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So this was, I think, in a bourbon barrel and then finished in a wine barrel.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
This is,
oh my goodness.
This is already in the nose. This is my favorite whiskey again.
Yeah, that is rich. That is like hot buttered rum.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just looked this up on K&L's website. I think it's still available and it's like not super expensive.
It does smell like butterscotch or like Werther's or something. It's very candy like.
Werther's candies, yes.
Werther's candies, yeah. Or like a honey baked ham. It's got like a savory sort of note in there.
Yes, so this is still available at K&L. So if you're interested, it is for $55 and they have more than 36 in the warehouse.
I'm definitely going to buy this.
I think this is
what is K&L?
K&L Wines is down at Sunset and Street.
Sunset and Street. Sunset and Other Street.
That one street over there.
Another street. There's only two streets in LA.
It's like on Vine, isn't it? Sunset and Vine.
Sunset and Vine. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Yes. Because down from Hollywood and Vine.
That smells really nice.
Yeah, I just want to sit in the nose. Like this smells like Christmas. Like
oh my gosh.
Like British meal Christmas, where everything is like rich and savory and puddings and gravies, and it's like Ebenezer Scrooge times Christmas. Damn, that smells good.
$55 K&L, I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is like a boat filled with butter gravy. With brown sugar on top of it.
It just smells desserty to me. I'm just smelling like butterscotch caramel. Like it's just very
candied yams, maybe.
Yeah, very wintry.
I almost don't want to taste it because the nose is so good. I don't know. I mean, sometimes like the nose misleads you, you know, and then the flavor is good, but it's like, that's not what you smelled. It's true though, right?
All right, I'm going in.
Gosh, I love this.
All right. All right, here we go.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Whoa.
What's the opposite of aftertaste?
Foretaste.
Before taste?
Foretaste. Okay. So
I would call it foretaste. It's foretaste.
Foretaste. The foretaste was amazing. The aftertaste almost knocked me out of my chair.
Yeah.
The foretaste sort of matched that nose.
What a finish though. Holy shit.
Yeah. The foretaste is like a French horn going, and then the end of it is like but now the band's leaving. Bye everybody. The party's over. I love to come back. I like coming back to the nose too after tasting something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more like there's more of it, you know?
Like it smells more acidic now after having tasted it.
I have to add this persimmons.
Oh, persimmons.
Persimmons.
Interesting. Like persimmons is not like something I would ever buy or taste necessarily, but like definitely the flavor and smell of it is like, when you say that, like I definitely get that. But it's like I would never go into a store and be like, I got to get my persimmons for the week.
Maybe that's
Arthur, point me to the persimmons section.
Yeah, where's the persimmons section?
My husband, okay, I'm going to tell a husband story. When we first started dating, I was fully vegan. And as we've mentioned before, he's the nicest human being. to ever walk the planet. And bless his heart, he went to Whole Foods for probably the first time in his life, because he also eats like a teenager, as well as drinking like a teenager. He likes just sweet and salty and fried things. And so he went to a Whole Foods, presumably for the first time ever. And he had asked me at some point, trying to bury it in a conversation, like what kinds of things I like to eat. But I think he said, what do you eat for protein? Some point, somewhere I used the word legume. So he went to Whole Foods because he was going to make me dinner. And he walked up to somebody and said, where are the legumes? The person working there had no idea what he was talking about. Like didn't at all know, like, oh, that's a bean, and here's probably what this poor man means. That person just happened to be as clueless as he was, which probably is not common among Whole Foods employees, but he just ran into like the one person that day that didn't know. And so they walked around together, just pointing things out. Like, do you think that's a legume? Do you think that's a legume?
Oh my God. That's so amazing.
That's like a Dr. Seuss book.
It really is. Yeah. In search of legumes for the woman you love. Bless his heart.
Was this pre, internet phones and Google?
No, there's no excuse for this. There's no. He's also a fully grown adult. Like there's no real, there's no catch to the story.
Maybe it's because he said legume and not legume.
Legume, yeah, perhaps he missed the JU glide.
Oh, legumes. You mean beans? Yes, over here.
Yeah,
oh, legumes.
How great would it have been, though, if that Whole Foods employee was actually in their second year of an acting program and studying standard American dialect and was like, I believe you mean legumes? To which he would have said, yes, probably.
So I'm Canadian originally. I moved down to the US, and I remember going out for lunch with the co-workers one day, and I turned to the waiter and said, I'll have the pasta special, please. And the waiter was like, the what?
What?
The pasta special, please. And my friend said, I think my Canadian friend means the pasta special. And I was like, really? You couldn't get from pasta to pasta?
Yeah, that's not a long walk.
Well, but if you're in Los Angeles, maybe there's some fancy thing called pasta or pasta or posta. That's, you know what I mean? That's not like, it's like, I don't want to like look stupid and
Okay.
Yeah. Pasta does seem, in England they call it pasta, or at least the people I worked with do. It was everyone said pasta, and I felt foolish saying pasta. Mm-hmm. Because obviously it's their language.
We've both been injured by the word pasta.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they turn everything into though, right? So it's like you would think they would, they would have the.
I know,
right?
that's like the pasta. One word where I was like, wait, why am I awing and you're aing?
The bowl, right? It's all.
Yes, did you say ball? Because we also say ball.
Right, but it's the bowl.
It's the bowl.
The bowl. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I took like a Jane Austen, improv class. So
did you?
That's where my British English comes from.
Amazing. I learned so much in 2 months over there. And it is amazing how often I would, just because I'm the only American in the cast, how often we'd be sitting and shooting the shit. And it's like one pop culture reference, one geography reference, one slight vocab change, and I'm just out of the conversation. And I'm excited. By the end of it, I felt like I was following along a lot better. But yeah, it's fascinating. You would think I didn't expect to feel like that much of a foreigner, but there were times, and it was probably the same for you, Andrew, right? Moving here, you probably didn't assume you were going to have moments like that, or not that many.
Yeah, I did not expect that kind of difference, because we're Canadian. We speak essentially the same language. We're inundated by American TV and movies up there. So
definitely.
Yeah, the distinction was good. I can now hear it when I go back and I hear someone's going about.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Or it's gone missing. That's the other thing. It's like, it's gone missing. I
remember talking to a Canadian friend in college about the Canadian A, because we were all studying dialects and linguistics, and she was like, well, what do you guys say instead of A? And I said, we don't tend to we sort of make it a statement rather than ask a question. But is regionally, depending on where you're from, you might say but not as often. And she said, so if you walk up to a street corner at night and there's a stranger there, we would say it's cold outside, eh? What would you say? And I was like, street corner at night, a stranger, like,
we wouldn't talk to that guy.
What are you talking about?
You wouldn't talk to a stranger.
You don't say a word. You just lace your keys in between your fingers and like make sure your phone's in your head. Like, what on earth are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
One of the only times I was mugged was when I was in Edmonton in Canada.
Really?
And yes, and I was staying at a friend's house, and they and they ran up to me with like their hand in their pocket, like they had a gun, right? And they were like you see in gangster movies, like, and he was like, I've got a gun. And I literally just ran away from the guy because I was like, you don't have a gun.
No.
Like, zero
it's Edmonton. Yeah. You don't have a gun.
Yeah. No. If you have a gun, you're showing
Canada. Yes, exactly. It's like, you're going to show me the gun if you have a gun. You're not going to like, I got it in here. Like, no one does that. I'm not stupid. Yeah. So
also, that may very well have been a Canadian with a gun that he was just he would have been like, I'm not going to show it because he was too polite. He was like, it's going to scare the
I've got a gun, eh?
It's really expensive. It's ostentatious. I shouldn't have spent the money on it.
Like, I need your money, but I don't want to hurt. I don't want you to be scarred for life.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't be. I don't want to scar you. I just want your money, right? Okay, give it over.
Funny story. The next day I met the mayor of Edmonton, and all the other and all the Canadians I was with were like, why didn't you bring up that you got mugged last night in the city? And I was like, I wouldn't. Why would I do that? Like, they were like, well, why didn't you tell her that you did that point, Oh man, we're behind schedule, but I really don't want to move on from this, even though I know the next whiskey is amazing.
Did we even science that? I can't.
We have not scienced it. I don't want to though.
You know what? Just for completeness, we're going to go.
If you guys are doing it, I'm going to do it.
I don't want to. You don't have to jump off the bridge.
So here's what I'm wondering.
So good.
Is the sciencing taming the nose, or by the time we get to the sciencing, are we just so familiar with it?
It's hard to say, but I do think it's taming it, because I know sometimes we add water and suddenly like, oh, there's the nose.
Yeah.
And that's really what it should do. Like the real science behind it says it's pushing the alcohol molecules further away, letting the kind of other esters and distillates inside the whiskey come out and hit your nose. But I do find sometimes it just damps it down, which is completely counterintuitive.
Do you feel like it damps it down for this, Chelsey?
I think a bit.
Just a touch. It smells.
I feel it brings out different stuff.
All of a sudden, to me, it smells a little bit like dried fruit, like dried apricot.
It smells more funky to me. Like there's more of that like kind of rot. It's less of like a Werther's and more like a a dried apricot or like a dried
candy's
mango.
Gone away for me.
Yeah.
I get like a dusty, grassy field.
Dusty is a good,
That's so bizarre, because this was candy at first.
Yeah.
And this is like a room where someone like prepared a meal at some point, and now it's like a day later, and it's just, you just smell the meal's been like the remnants of the meal.
Mm-hmm. The lingering aroma.
So that's something you can do. You can smell your skin, and that kind of resets your palate, and then you can go.
Okay, that helps actually, because I think some of the intensity, I might be losing some of the intensity because I'm just getting used to it. My face is in it.
Sense. We burn off our.
All right, I'm gonna taste it.
Factory glands. Oh,
I still like it, but it was better without. I think
it was better without. But
agreed.
$55 right now, still available at K&L. Go get you some.
Yeah, that was very good.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so
excited.
There's an exciting story. Well, first of all, we both love Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte's my favorite whiskey, like in general. Like I just drink like regular, like 10-year Port Charlotte that you get is like, it's just a good, it's like, remember when you met me, Chelsey, and I love Lafroig, like that Port Charlotte is now my Lafroig. Like
this is your favorite
too. Yeah. And this particular Lafroig, go ahead and tell us about this, Andrew, because this is like a special. There's a story. So, what did I say? Yeah, I said
that's a beautiful bottle.
Isn't it gorgeous? It's 500 centiliters, so it's smaller than normal. But generally, what you do is if you go visit the distillery, they got 2 casks out. There's a Bruichladdich and a Port Charlotte, and you can do a hand fill. So you can they'll give you the bottle, you pop the cork, you put it into the spigot, you fill it up, put the cork in, they put the seal on top, they do it, they put the export tax on the dot here. and then you take it away with you. And it's like, I hand bottled that bottle of whiskey.
That's
very
cool.
exciting. Of course, in pandemic,
it's like Build-A-Bear, but for whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've got like from 17, 18, 19 from those trips. I have those, but couldn't go in 20 and 21. Obviously, I am going in May. I'm very excited about that too. So they put out a lottery during the pandemic saying, hey, you can bid on these bottles and we'll pull people's numbers at random who want to buy the bottle, and then we'll ship you the bottle. So instead of doing it by hand, they did it for people. So that's the story of this. I have not tasted it yet. It was sent to me in 21, last summer, sort of ish.
So theoretically, this could be a complete disaster.
It could be horrible, but come on, it's Port Charlotte. It's a single bourbon cask from Port Charlotte.
Thank you for sharing this with me. What before I even smell it, what is it that makes it so special for both of you?
It has like a distinctive smoky taste that to me is like Lafroig is like Lafroig. Port Charlotte is like Port Charlotte. Like there's just more nuance to it.
Okay.
Like there's,
okay.
I don't know. It's got a lot going on generally.
Okay.
So the things that I get out of it is that Bruichladdich itself is a distillery that is kind of like Victorian age. They've really not modernized anything about it. They need 80 people to run the distillery, which is way more than any modern distillery. Like you need 8 people to run a modern distillery. So they're doing everything by hand. The way they distill it gives it this kind of almost effervescent, kind of almost sandy, and it's not sand, that's not the right word, but it's effervescent kind of quality to the spirit. And then they pair that with a lighter peat from Inverness instead of going with the Islay kind of iodine peat you get out of Lafroig and the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's just, they take such care. They care about the provenance of it. It's a handmade whiskey by experts. I guess
Wow.
that's.
And so is this something that you cannot just get? Like if I wanted to bottle this, I couldn't get it. Is this something you
No.
have to go?
This is something you have to go to the distillery to get, or
Oh.
in the pandemic
You can
years,
get Port
win the
Charlotte at
lottery.
K&L or like a good liquor store, but like this particular, you
this
can
particular-
you have to go to the distillery to get it.
But yeah,
Wow, Andrew, thank you for sharing this. That's
Port
amazing.
Charlotte 10, I would get that in a heartbeat, and you'd probably love it if you like the peated stuff. If you like this, I'm gonna guess that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Did
God.
you miss that?
No, I saw it.
Sheer joy.
Oh my God.
God. Yeah, you put
Whoa.
up the favorite whiskey alert. You didn't even need to.
Oh yes.
Whoa.
This smells like an Octomore, man. This is like smoky.
It's yeah, but also like tractor fuel, but in a good way.
Oh my God.
This is going to sound so weird, but there's also something sweet. It's not
Yep.
just.
Yeah.
And they do use a lot of white wine and dessert wine casks to age their stuff as well, and so that kind of gives a unique thing here. But this is just a bourbon cask. This is crazy. It's this sweet.
Oh my God, that is so campfirey. Like that is a campfirey, smoky smell right there. Oh God, that's good. Andrew, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a little bit of a cow field here as well. I don't know if you've been.
Yeah, it's like I'm out in like a field, like maybe on the like somewhere in Alberta, and it's just like empty like prairie, and there's like I'm sitting at a campfire with like some Canadian cowboys, and we're like there's rawhide nearby, there's like a herd of cattle, and that's oh my God, there's that fresh, like grassy fields going on forever at night, but at night, only at night, like that prairie at night smell.
Cuckoo bananas. This is.
Why Alberta? Defend your choice.
Well, I've spent a lot of time in Canada, and I've been out on the prairie, and I don't know, it's nostalgic. Like whiskey like hits at a lot of nostalgic notes for me.
Yeah.
And it's like I like going to Edmonton for the Fringe Festival and being at Calgary and for the Loose Moose School and hanging out with Canadians up there, and it's just, to me, this is that place, that smell, that
This is what Canadian farmers smell like. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I remember once I went up there for the I went up to Calgary, and it was during the Stampede, which is like it's like a festival for them.
Calgary Stampede,
and,
greatest outdoor show on earth. Yeehaw.
And customs pulled me aside, and I was in there for like hours while they grilled me. And then when I came out of customs, because the Stampede, I came into a corral and they lassoed me. Like, I was tired, I was upset, I was like, welcome to Canada, welcome to the Stampede. And it's like, you've been lassoed. It's like a marketing thing, right? And I was like, it was such a weird juxtaposition of like, they thought I was coming up there to like work, because I was going up for like the fringe or whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's like, you filled out your form wrong or something. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. They just were like, you're not stealing from Canadians, are you? You work from Canadians. And I was like, no, of course not. Like, it's not like Canadians come down and steal any acting work from us. I mean, there's a lot of Anyways, Canadians. Calgary Stampede, greatest outdoor show. Stealing work. There's nothing like, there's a lot of Calgary that's right wing and that I had to move away from, but the Stampede is amazing. They do pancake breakfasts that are free all over town. People put on these free pancake breakfasts. You come in, you get your pancakes anywhere, like at shopping malls, downtown on the mall, like just anywhere for the full 14 days of the thing, or 15 days, whatever, however long it is. Free pancake breakfast. Everyone's wearing a white hat everywhere. The bus drivers, like the city gets into it. This is
the Stampede just times out at the same time as the comedy festival.
No, the Fringe, Edmonton Fringe.
The Fringe is in Edmonton. The Stampede is in Calgary.
Wait, so what you were just talking about?
Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, there's the high performance rodeo from One Yellow Rabbit in Calgary.
Okay.
In fact, like the Loose Moose Theater originally was in a cattle auction house.
Yep.
That was the original theater. And Keith always talks about how great the space was, because it was set up so people could see the cow from all angles. And so the stage was perfect for improv. And yet at the same time, the performers could be off at the side and like in the darkness, so that you could watch the show without being on stage. Like he would talk about how like it sucks to be on stage watching the show as a performer. Anyway, I'm getting
standing against the back wall. No, that space was fantastic. That's where I learned my improv.
Hey, and I'm happy that Canadian actors come down and work with us.
It sounds like it. It sounds, really.
We've been smelling this for 10 minutes now and talking, so we should probably taste it. Unless Chelsey's tasted it. Okay. I'm happy with this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so good and so unexpected. The nose did not prepare me for that at all.
Guys, I fucking love whiskey.
It had such a smoky nose, and the flavor is so fruity.
Yeah. It's not nearly as smoky as I thought it was going to be.
But it's there.
William Shatner's Canadian. I mean, who doesn't love that?
Are we just going to randomly name Canadians now?
Mark Meir, one of my favorite Canadian actors.
Yep. Those Ryans that are doing so well right now, both Canadian.
Ryan Gosling, Canadian?
I think so. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds and Gosling. Yeah, I think so.
I feel like now's the point where we start naming actors who aren't Canadian, but you think might be, the Olsen twins, they're Canadian, right?
That seems, yeah.
No, the Olsen twins are just straight up Americana. What are you talking about?
But they seem like they could be Canadian, right?
But they're supposed to just be from San Francisco because Full House was right? That was real.
Oh, I was on an airplane from LA to Dallas the morning that Don Rickles passed away, and sat right next to Bob Saget. And I just heard of, he just passed away recently, which is also very sad, because he didn't have, I don't know, like you can tell by looking at someone and talking to them, but yeah. He seemed,
oh my God.
I don't know where I went with that. I'm sorry.
Was Bob Saget Canadian? Because actually he's a perfect pull for somebody that feels like they could be Canadian.
He does seem like he could be Canadian, but he was in Full House. I think that's the connection.
That was the connection for me, anyways.
Yes. No, I know that's where you were going, but he really does feel like he could be. Yeah, he was very. I've never met him, but everyone I know who knew him just says he was the kindest You know?
Yeah, he was super.
He does have like that friendly sort of Canadian vibe to him, like that. Just like I'm super friendly, charming human being.
But can go.
Oh my god,
this is
like I could say like I know I already said this is my favorite whiskey, but this is amazing. Like this reminds me of like PC5. Like this is a good M&F and whiskey right here.
Yeah, I would say this is my favorite before tonight. It's very good, very good.
Oh, this is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like 60%, and it's like I wouldn't 60%. Say, yeah.
Now, I mean, if we poured this for the first thing in the evening and came right at it, 60% would probably knock us on our asses. But
yeah,
right now, oh my god,
yeah, it's like this is like what I love about Port Charlotte, but like as a laser, like like shooting through all of the things I love about Port Charlotte and hitting it on the nose. Like this is why I love Port Charlotte, man. Oh, damn, that's good. I fucking love whiskey.
Fucking love whiskey.
I'm just looking at what Ian did with our love of whiskey scores here. My love for whiskey is not a number. And it's love 4, the number 4 whiskey. Joseph is at what is that? 100,001. Okay,
I can't see them. I can't see the scores.
I think it's like a scientific notation at this point. Like I think it's like.
Wait, what is mine?
It's Chelsea's is 25, and I can't. It goes off the screen there. Is that octal or is that what is that, Ian? We've lost Ian.
No, I'm here. No, it just goes off the screen. But you're right. It is scientific notation. It's 25 times 10 to the 15th.
Oh, that seems big. I'm not an expert.
I exponentially love whiskey.
Is honey whiskey a bastardization of whiskey?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's fine.
But if you like it, you can drink it.
Yeah.
You know,
I just don't
it's
think
like,
they should
it's
call
like
it whiskey.
Peppermint whiskey or peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
it just shouldn't. It's not the same. It's not the same thing.
You've made a mixed drink.
Yes.
With whiskey.
Yes.
Is what you've done.
Yeah.
It's a whiskey cocktail at that point.
Yeah.
Because whiskey is grain, yeast, and water.
Yeah.
Aged in oak.
And that's what the thing is, like, Chelsey, this is like it's like water and like yeast and a grain. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's like, how did those flavors come out of that? Like it blows my mind.
It is. It's amazing.
I can only say this. Blah, blah, blah.
I agree with Andrew. Blah, 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 blah.
Sounds like my alphabet from earlier this evening.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's very nice.
I mean, this is the point where it's like, I wouldn't science this. Like, why take the risk?
Yeah.
Why take the risk?
Not this, not it's too, not when it had to be specially ordered, and that feels inappropriate.
I just feel like magic happens in those casks, and to adulterate it with anything hurts me. But yeah, at the same time,
I'm tasting like a mailroom with like the flavor of the lick when you lick the envelopes, and the smell of paper, and like the mimeograph machines, and like all of it, everything that's in a mailroom. Like that's what this tastes like to me.
Okay, I have to dig deeper on that one, much like Canada.
I've got notes as well.
I don't have notes, I have questions.
Okay.
When you say that, is it because you have positive memories associated with a mailroom, or what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do. Like when I was, because I've done a couple postcard games. Like that was like one of my side hustles, and like the smell of when you open up the box and the printing of the freshly, like I've designed this game, and now I have the hard copy in my hand, and then going to like talking to people in mail rooms, like going to talk to actual mail, U.S. postal employees who were all delightful. Every person I talked to was super helpful and was like, how can we help you ship your game to people? And the smell of that room, and like putting the games in the envelopes, like it's just like a whole connection of nostalgia points for this to me.
No, that's good. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah, I like that. Because like when you said Canada earlier, all I could think was, well, I mean, Scotland's just a country full of green fields, so why Canada? But then you tell the story and it's like, oh yeah, it's this thing that's like personal to you. And so that's good to hear. I like it.
And I've been in both Scotland and Canada, and I don't know why, but this reminds me more of, it reminds me more of Canada than Scotland. I don't know,
I love that. It's like so personal.
Well, that's what I love about Scotch. Like, I love hearing about the nostalgia that it brings up in people. Like, what does this remind you of? Like, what does it remind you of, Chelsey?
What does it remind me of? I don't know. To be honest, now whiskey is always going to remind me of these conversations. It really is, because this is sort of my entry point.
This reminds me of that Zoom meeting I was in.
This reminds me of how much Joseph loves mail rooms. That's what it's going to feel like to me. No, because I'm a little bit of a nerd in that I like the backstory and the history. And so I like hearing you guys talk about it, because Andrew, you come from a place where you can really talk about the nitty gritty and the science and so much about that. And then Joseph, you come from a place that's very emotional and very memory based. And these are genuinely the things that I'm going to remember about whiskey. This really is going to be, this is genuinely the entry point for me. Guys, I might fucking love whiskey.
I mean, we were going to
ask you that, but I feel like we can't even ask now.
We did it. No, I just never had an opportunity to learn about it. So anytime I can learn about something through people who absolutely adore it and appreciate it and have such a passion for it, there's no way for that not to translate into a love of my own. It's just, that's the best way to learn about something, is just people who care about it.
Well, and honestly, this is why we do this thing. We love this thing. We love sharing it with people. It's way better, because I've had this for a year now. I've never opened it. I would not open it on my own. I want to share it with people to go are you tasting what I'm tasting? Do you get this?
Yeah.
This is amazing too. Am I wrong? So yeah, thank you.
I think that's what's amazing about spirits altogether. It's just that there's such a communal element to it. There's an entire history, as you were saying about this distillery. There are people who have dedicated their entire lives to mastering this craft and doing it their way and honoring a specific process that they have found and that they're honing year by year. And that's just, it's magic in a glass. It's not just booze. There's something behind it that's so meaningful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're so glad we're on the show.
Yeah. Thank you for being a guest.
Thanks for having me.
Had a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't want to go, but we have to, because it's time.
It's time.
Thank you to Outside In Theater. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe now. There's amazing shows. This is an inclusive, safe space for people to be creative and to let their outlet out. That makes sense, right, Joseph? Outlet out.
Yes, and there's a link in the chat to Corey's GoFundMe. Our friend Corey has had some medical issues, and any help you can give him, $5 or whatever, is really helpful. He could really use the help.
I don't know the backstory. Can you give a
Corey, an amazingly creative and technical improviser, and just an improviser in general. Such an open, warm heart, so creative, and then had just as COVID hit, had some things going wrong with his neck, and I will misquote it and misstate it if I get into it, but anyways, so a lot of difficulty standing, having balance. So he's had one surgery to kind of start to rectify the thing that's going wrong with his connections to his nervous system, and then he's having his neck fused or something. I should have more information.
If there's more information, if you click the link, I think.
Yeah, if you click the link, it's all in there. But yeah, so he's going through these big operations, and just to try and get him back to not being in pain and not being kind of locked in place. So
yeah, the pandemic has made everything kind of more challenging, as it has for all of us. So
yes, yeah, it has. And
thank you, Ian Carroll, for being our excellent tech today, guest for our Thaddeus, who's off at a wedding. Thank you to Geek Filter, who did the graphics for the show. Thank you for watching at home, and thank you, Chelsey Crisp, for being such an excellent.
And I also want to thank Rhett for taking care of the kids.
Yes.
I definitely want to thank Rhett for doing that so Chelsey could take a time.
I know, guys, my husband is downstairs with a 3-year-old and a 6-week-old baby and not cooking legumes for sure.
No.
And he is just, that guy is something else. So I agree. Thank you, Rhett, for making this happen. Although I know you don't have time to watch this for a very long time because we have a 6-week-old baby.
Well, hopefully he's asleep with the infant on his chest or something like that, watching a TV show.
I heard some crying a few minutes ago, so I'm going to guess that's not what's going on downstairs. But maybe.
You think Rhett's crying? Do you think he's?
It probably was Rhett. Yeah, it didn't sound like either of our children. It was just
maybe they're watching a TV show about crime. Maybe
it could be. It could be. Yeah, it's just a full-grown man weeping downstairs.
Anyways, y'all, I fucking love whiskey.
I love whiskey. Thank you so much for having me. And Andrew, thank you for sharing this very special one with us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.